My name's Carroll Shelby, and performance is my business.
When it comes to the world of motor racing, Carroll Shelby is one of our greatest national treasures. Carroll's love for speed began at an early age. As a kid in Texas, he raced tricycles, and as a teenager, he raced jalopies, the predecessor to stock car racing. At the onset of World War II, he enlisted in the Army, and our government, taking notice of Carroll's need for speed, soon enrolled him in their sergeant pilot program, teaching him to fly. After World War II, Carroll knew that his future was in sports car racing.
When I first started driving in Sport Car Club of America, it was very, very amateurish, and they hated to see people like Phil Hill and myself that couldn't afford to drive for nothing. I said, let's form us a club, RFM. So we got about 10 bowler hats. We formed the club. RFM was run for money.
He became a gun for hire. His natural driving ability and talent made him quickly sought after in the emerging American sports car scene. Shelby's driving prowess led to 3 national championships, the first in 1955, and shortly after in 1957, and again in 1960. But Shelby knew that his future was in Europe, where sports car racing was more professional and a well-attended spectator sport.
Ferrari, he offered me a job in 1956 at Luigi Canetti's urging. I said, what do you pay? And he says, well, $70 a month. And I said, I don't believe that I can do that. He says, well, but if you're going to win races, you drive for Ferrari. I said, I guess I'll have to take second place and drive for John Wire.
His greatest single victory as a driver came when he won the most prestigious race in the world, the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1959. The following year would see Shelby clinching the U.S. Road Racing Drivers' Championship at Laguna Seca, despite a debilitating heart condition.
I won the national championship taking 5 nitroglycerin pills here.
The heart condition unfortunately forced Shelby to quit driving, but his racing career was just beginning. He was going to become a sports car manufacturer.
I always wanted to build my own car, and John Wire taught me how to do that, how to manage. He was the manager at Aston Martin.
Shelby realized in order to succeed, he needed to have a relationship with a large manufacturer, and Ford had just developed a new, small, powerful V8.
I didn't have any money. I was just a busted ex-race driver in California. I went to Ford and told Icoca that if he'd give me $25,000, that I'd build a car with a Ford engine in it that would outrun a Corvette. And he told Don Fry, says, give that guy $25,000 before he bites somebody.
In 1962, he mated the 260 cubic inch V8 engine with a light aluminum chassis from a struggling British company that had just lost its engine supplier, the AC Car Company. Within 8 hours of receiving the first chassis from the AC Car factory in Great Britain, Shelby's crew of California hot rodders had the car ready for its first road test. The Cobra was a success off and on the track. And by the end of 1963, the Cobras virtually owned the winner's circle in the Sports Car Club of America's A production class.
One day, Ray Geddes and I were sitting there talking, and we said, Christ, we won everything there is over here. Do you think that we could go to Europe?
Shelby then set his sights on the World's Manufacturers' Championship and Ferrari. But in international racing, where the Cobra Roadsters had to compete on tracks with longer, faster straights, against more aerodynamic coupes, like the sleek Ferrari GTOs, Shelby drivers found they were up against something no amount of increased engine power could help: an aerodynamic barrier. Shelby needed a snake with a more slippery skin. The first Cobra Daytona Coupe was designed and built by hand in no time. Designed by Pete Brock and a small group of Shelby employees, to say the Daytona Coupe was successful is an understatement. In 1965, Ford's Total Performance program was in full swing, and Ford called on Shelby's winning ways to help them develop a performance image for the new Mustang. He answered with the GT350, winning the SCCA's B Production Championship right out of the box. Shelby was on a roll. So Henry Ford came to the wily Texan to help Ford dominate the European racing scene by winning Le Mans with their GT40 program. Ford was determined to bring an overall victory back to the U.S. Ford's confidence in Shelby paid off. Shelby led his team of GT40s to an unprecedented 1-2-3 finish at Le Mans in 1966. And in 1967, pairing Dan Gurney and A.J. Foyt, he won again. During the golden age of racing, Shelby could do no wrong. But the handwriting was on the wall, and with the advent of restrictive government regulations, rising insurance costs, and escalating gas prices, these factors would ring the death knell of most muscle and high-performance cars. After building about 1,000 Cobras, 14,000 Shelby Mustangs, and an assortment of other performance cars, Shelby closed his shop in 1967.
It wasn't hard for me to walk away, quit building cars. It was a lot harder for me to quit going to Africa and riding around and seeing all those beautiful animals that, that I spent so much time with in the 70s than it was to quit building cars, because I know cars, I know the business, and I knew it was time to quit.
Over the years, Carroll Shelby has lent his name to a variety of business ventures, but he's never strayed far from his true love, designing high-performance sports cars. In 1997, he unveiled the Series 1 Roadster, a supercharged menace. And in 2007, the GT500 finally made a comeback. Ford and Shelby partnered to make a limited run of GT500s, revamped for the 21st century. For 2011, Carroll has retooled his Shelby American factory in Las Vegas to produce a limited run of GT350s and GT500 Super Snakes. The Super Snake builds on the already powerful 5.4-liter GT500 to create a mind-blowing 750 horsepower. For the Shelby purists, Shelby American will take the venerable 5-liter Mustang and recreate it as the GT350. White with blue stripes, the new GT350 is a direct descendant of the original with a tuned small block Ford V8 and a specially designed exhaust that recreates the sound America fell in love with in 1965. Carroll Shelby is more successful than ever as he enjoys his golden years. His name itself is a byword for performance and race-ready beauty. His cars are American icons, and to enthusiasts the world over, he's a legend.